truth and nothing but the truth? Okay, go ahead and have a seat. Oh, yes, absolutely. You can take the box. Okay, so we were at the point of cross-examination, and you can go ahead and begin.
All right. Officer Chandler, I'm going to ask you a series of questions pertaining to your firsthand knowledge and your probable cause for my arrest on 9/26/22. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. During my cross-examination last month, the truth is you can't really remember anything about arresting me that day without referring to your report. Is that correct?
Is that a leading question or a straight up?
It is a leading question.
Tired of answering leading questions. So what's your actual question?
During my cross-examination last month, the truth is you can't remember anything about you arresting me without referring to your report. Is that correct?
So are you asking what the truth is, or are you asking?
It's a yes or no question. Just a yes or no question.
Correct? Is that what you're asking?
So, Mr. Tripolini, let me jump in here. He's under oath. He is presumed to be telling the truth.
Okay.
So I don't think you need to add that in. It is for me to decide if ultimately he's telling the truth or not. And you can impeach him with inconsistencies, you can impeach him with other physical evidence that may not match what he's saying. But it is for me to decide ultimately what is the truth here.
Okay.
So you don't, it's frankly inappropriate for you to add in a question of whether he's telling the truth or not, because it's my purview to decide that, not his.
Okay.
Okay? You just ask him what he recalls, and he can either answer that question or he can't.
You don't recall anything about arresting me without referring to your report, correct?
Describe arrest.
Taking one's freedom.
If you're referring to that, then no. If you're referring to issuing you a citation, then yes, I would have to refer to my case report.
During my cross-examination last month, you remember every little detail about a separate female that was only about a 30-second encounter from you that was within your crime scene, correct?
I would say that's not true.
Is it correct that your testimony was that you told her she couldn't be there, but she simply smiled at you and walked off? Isn't that right?
I would have to try to remember what I said.
You stated this without referring to your report, correct?
I don't recall.
You do recall that other female within your crime scene boundaries, correct?
If you're referring to the female, that was on the east side of the complex, I believe. That was in my body-worn camera. Is that what you're referring to?
If you could clarify so that he can understand the question, then he can answer the question.
Yes, that is what I'm referring to.
Okay, so what about the female again?
Your testimony during my cross-examination last month was that you told her she couldn't be there and she just smiled at you and walked off. Isn't that right?
Again, I don't remember what I said last time you were here, so unless you have a printout that I can read.
And miraculously, you remember the excuse you made 8 months ago for why you ripped your badge off without referring to your report. Is that correct?
I don't understand that question.
You gave an excuse in December of 2022 during our attorney interview as to why you ripped your badge off, correct?
I don't recall what that interview was all about in December.
We listened to it 1 month ago. Do you recall that?
Nope. It was a 2-hour interview, bro.
While the prosecutor was examining you, hold on, give me a second.
That's fine.
When the prosecutor was examining you 1 month ago, you remembered a lot of details and the past 16 years of your employment during the prosecution's examination, didn't you?
I wouldn't say details. I gave a general overview of my career. I wouldn't say that's details.
If I ask you the same questions the prosecutor asked you last month, am I going to get the same answers you gave the prosecution?
Sure, but what's the point of asking if you already have the information?
Do you recall being dispatched to an address on Prince Road on 9/26 of 22?
I would have to refer to my report.
Your answer to the prosecution last month was correct. I do. Is that correct?
Again, it was last month, man. I don't remember what I said.
According to your training or Tucson Police Department's orders, you need to give any kind of reason as to why you want an individual to leave from private property.
Are you referring to our TP policies and procedures?
According to your training or Tucson Police Department's orders, do you need to give any type of reason why an individual needs to leave private property? Excuse me.
I don't really know how to answer that question because our policies don't dictate criminal law.
Your response to the prosecution was negative last month, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
When you first approached me, you told me, "You can record. I'm just going to stop you right there, buddy," didn't you?
Okay, you need to be more specific on that question. I don't know what you're getting at there.
When you first approached me, you advised me, "You can record. I'm just going to stop you right there, buddy," didn't you?
Okay, when I approached you, when?
Initially.
Initially on what?
520 West Prince Road, approximately 3:45 p.m.
I would have to refer to my police report.
The truth is, the management didn't give you authority to even tell me that day, did they?
Again, I don't know what your question is.
Did you have any authority that day from the management to allow me to remain on their property to record?
I still don't understand your question. Like, are you asking?
You had no authority that day to allow me to record on that private property, did you?
Your Honor, is there some kind of foundation that?
So I think that you may want want to refresh his recollection, provide him the opportunity to review his report so that he can hone in on specifically the point in time that you're questioning him about, and then he can more successfully answer your questions. I think he's confused about what point in this process of contact that you're referring to,
Okay.
okay?
That's his report, if you want.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I do have a copy. Officer Chandler,
So, hold on, flip it over and tell me what exhibit number it is.
this is exhibit number 7.
Okay,
May I approach the witness over here?
yes, you may.
Hand him this. You have not studied or prepared yourself at all for today's trial, have you, Officer Chandler?
Prescribed, prepared, and studied.
Have you have not reviewed your body cam footage, you have not reviewed your police reports or anything pertaining to this trial today so you could remember anything today, have you?
No, because I do not, as stated earlier, I have to refer to my report, so why would I study my report if I have to refer to it already?
Somebody advised you to refer to your report during questioning, didn't they?
Talking about today?
Somebody advised you at some point in time to do nothing but refer to your report during questioning, didn't they?
Yeah, myself.
So you told yourself that you're not going to answer any questions without referring to your report. Is that your testimony?
Negative. That wasn't your question. You asked if someone advised me of looking at my report. I said, yes, I advised myself.
So nobody else has advised you to refer to your report during questioning?
I don't know where you're going with that, but if I understand what your question is correct, then I guess that would be my answer.
What was the answer? Is it yes or no?
I advised myself to look at my report.
Did you refer to your report on the question that I asked you about you can record? I'm just going to stop you right there, buddy.
Let me look at my report. States in my report, I walked over to that male subject, advised him that he could record, but he could not pass a designated area.
You then immediately went to the alleged manager after allowing me to record, and in your words, to get her out of the way of the camera, didn't you?
Let me refer to my report. After I advised that male subject, Officer Aguilar was with the property manager of the complex, April Bender. They were standing in front of the male recording, and I took her out of view from the camera so she did not have to be in that environment since one of her tenants just killed himself and she was still shook up.
Okay, so after you told me you can record, I'm just going to stop you right there, buddy. You went immediately to the manager to get her out of the way of the camera. Is that your testimony?
I'll read from my report again. After I advised the male subject, Officer Aguilar was with the property manager of the complex, April Bender. They were standing in front of the male recording, and I took her away from the view of the camera so she did not have to be in that environment since one of her tenants just killed himself and she was still shook up.
And she was trying to go to her office at that point in time, wasn't she?
I can't tell you what her thoughts were at that time.
Can you tell me what your fellow officer told you? Officer Aguilar, to be exact?
Objection.
After
Okay, I'm sorry, that's hearsay. Overruled? Okay.
It's sustained.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, did anybody else tell you? Actually, somebody else told you she was on her way to her office. Is that correct?
Let me read from my report again. After I advised the male subject, Officer Aguilar was with the property manager of the complex, April Bender. They were standing in front of the male recording, and I took her away out of view from the camera so she did not have to be in that environment since one of her tenants just killed himself and she was still shook up.
I'm not sure which exhibit it is, but I would like to play the video, or just the audio actually, from Officer Aguilar's body-worn camera footage. I can check to see which exhibit I listed on the packages there. I'm not sure of the exact exhibit. It gives his words, that way he can have a little better recollection of what took place at that point in time.
Okay, so you'd like to refresh his recollection?
Correct.
With his verbiage from the body.
Yes.
Okay, you can refresh with the body worn camera.
I've got it on a USB drive. I just want to get the exhibit number here so I know which one to refer to.
Thank you.
This is exhibit B. It is Aguilar's body-worn camera. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to 8 minutes and 25 seconds into exhibit B
Okay.
for the record.
Gonna come up on the screen.
No, I'm gonna play it for you.
So you're just wanting the audio?
I just want him to have recollection of what he said. That way he can answer the questions properly.
Just gonna stop you right there.
Excuse me.
If you go to the front where the leasing office is, just go right behind it.
You record, just gonna stop you right there.
You can record. I'm just gonna stop you right there. Is that what you just stated?
Honestly, I can't understand what it.
Is this mic off?
It's on. Those mics, they're really just for recording on what's called the FTR, which is the official record. They don't really have much in the way of amplification.
Okay, it's working.
Turn it up a little bit, okay? Hold on one second.
Okay, one more time, Officer Chandler.
Leasing office is, just go right behind it.
You record, just gonna stop you right there.
You just said you can record. I'm just gonna stop you right there, right?
That's what you're saying. Like, I still don't get what that is saying. I don't understand.
Could you hear
It's
that,
too
Your Honor?
garbled for me.
It's a little garbled, but,
Let's see if I can get this audio a little better here.
I'll turn the gallery loudspeaker up. to the max though.
Okay, I'm in the apartment. If you go to the front where the leasing office is, just go right behind it. You'll see it.
Record, you just gotta stop me right there.
You can record. I'm just gonna stop you right there.
Only thing I picked up was stop you right there. I don't remember, I don't recall what the first half was. Or I can't even make that out. Kind of helps if I could see it too. Because now I could put a kinesthetic point to it. So if you got
Can
the
the
body.
prosecution possibly play? Excuse me. Can the prosecution possibly play your exhibit on Officer Aguilar's body worn camera?
I have Officer Aguilar.
8 minutes and 20 seconds in. We'll give a few seconds before it starts, and that way you can see yourself on the. And we will stop it at about 8:27.
So I put it 7:50, would that be okay?
No, 8 minutes and 20. 8 minutes and 20 seconds will be fine. That gives us 5 seconds.
Might have other questions? Oh, okay.
Other than that, I can go find it.
Okay, I'm in the apartment. If you go to the front where the leasing office is, just go right behind it. You'll see it.
Record, you just gotta stop me right there.
Okay, that's fine. Did you hear and see yourself say, you can record, I'm just gonna stop you right there?
Again, I hear stop you right there. I can't make out what I said prior to that, but yes, that would be me on body worn.
Okay, this is at 8 minutes and 20 seconds roughly. Now, 9 minutes and 15 seconds now, please.
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good.
Hi, what's your name?
What's your name?
Officer Chandler, you are now on be here per the management.
Okay, pause it. This is approximately a little shy of 1 minute later. And you told me I could record less than 1 minute. You pulled the manager behind your car and had a conversation with her, didn't you?
I have to refresh my report on that.
Well, the time is stamped in Aguilar's body cam footage. You don't really have to refer to your report to that. We're at,
Does it show me going back to the manager and talk to her, what you're asking me?
time frame is what I'm looking at here. You told me,
Well, can you rewind it then if it's his camera and shows me talking to her?
did you just witness at 8 minutes and 20 seconds, you were telling me I could record, just gonna stop you right there.
I testified according to the video that I heard myself say on body worn, Officer Aguilar's body worn camera, that you could stop right there.
Okay, and at 9 minutes and 16 seconds now into this, you just stated, if you refuse to leave, I'm gonna arrest you. Is that correct?
Can you play it again?
From 9:15?
No, I apologize, yes, from 9:15, yes.
We're still trying to figure that out.
I'm talking about you guys.
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good.
Hi, what's your name?
What's your name?
Officer Chandler, you are now on be here per the management.
Okay,
You want
that's
to
fine.
So it sounds like that I said I wasn't gonna arrest you, which what you previously said I said, which contradicts on the body worn camera. I introduced myself.
You just said, the manager doesn't want you on the property. If you refuse to leave, I'm gonna arrest you. Is that correct?
That is not what the body worn camera states.
That is exactly what it states.
Want to play it again?
Please.
I'll allow it to be played one more
I know, I'm sorry. I would rather not play it a million times. I'm trying to get.
What you guys doing? Keep it good, man. Good.
Everybody okay? Everybody come out here unscathed?
We're still trying to figure it out.
I'm talking about you guys.
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good.
Hi, what's your name?
What's your name?
Officer Chandler, you are now allowed to be here per the management, so you want to off property for your future.
If you refuse to leave, I'm gonna arrest you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that correct?
I didn't copy that.
Your Honor, it was my fault.
It's okay.
That's all right. She's going back to her office.
Okay, pause it, please. Pause it, please. Officer Chandler, you just witnessed your fellow officer let you know that she's going back to her office before you drug her behind your patrol car. Is that correct?
I did not witness it. I just see myself walking in when they body worn camera.
You just heard Officer Aguilar say she's going back to her office, didn't you?
No, I didn't. You'd have to play that again.
That's hearsay, Your Honor.
Well, it's on the video. I'm asking him what he witnessed just now, Your Honor. I'm not asking him what he heard. I'm asking him what he just witnessed.
Okay, then I witnessed myself walking in the parking lot. Not what I heard.
I'll move on. That was 9 minutes and 15 seconds into this body cam. At 9 minutes and 30 seconds, you started to question me, didn't you?
I don't know. I haven't seen this body worn camera footage, so I wouldn't know when that happens.
Can we go to 9 minutes and 30 seconds, please?
Here per the management, so you want you off property for your future.
Yeah, that-
Off property, we're going to arrest you.
That's terrible. So you wouldn't solicit a trust I'm here with Mike
What? Officer Aguilar, 10524.
Are you here with Francine and what's your name?
Pause it for a second. You just witnessed yourself questioning me, is that correct?
At 9:30?
Just now, you just witnessed yourself questioning me, is that correct?
9:38. Your question's about 9.
Did you just witness yourself questioning me, sir?
Play it again.
Here per the management, so you want you off property for your future.
Yeah, that-
Off property, we're
Can't
going to
let me know what's going on.
What?
I
Officer
can't
Aguilar,
repeat what he said.
10524.
Are you here with Francine and what's your name?
Can you pause it, please? Did you just witness yourself questioning me just now?
Negative.
Did you,
The video camera states me advising you what's going on.
did you just ask me what residence am I staying at?
I didn't hear that.
Okay, I'll move on. After these questions here, Mark Brown there in the orange shirt asks you for your badge number 5 times in a row, doesn't he?
I haven't seen that part yet.
Let's play it.
Do you want me to move back a bit?
To 9:30 will be fine.
Here per the management, so you want you off property for your future.
Yeah, that-
Off property, we're going to arrest you.
That's terrible. So you wouldn't solicit a trust I'm here with Mike
What? Officer Aguilar, 10524.
Are you here with Francine and what's your name and address? What's your name and address?
Second time,
Are you a resident here? What's your name and address?
he's with me. Third time.
Okay, so what address are you staying at?
I'm not gonna give you his address.
Okay, so you're staying with
Mike
him?
Sagasta. No, Mike Sagasta.
I have no clue, that doesn't mean anything to me. What's your address, sir?
Why did you give me trespass? For what? Okay, pause it right there. There's the 5th time that Mark Brown asked you for your badge number. You witnessed that, correct?
I wouldn't say 5, I didn't count them, but he did ask
Quite
me
a
for
few.
my name and badge number.
Okay, great. At this point, you become irritated because of the questions coming your way, correct?
What would make you say that?
I'm asking that.
I can't speak to my mental state at that point.
Did you say, okay, cool, if you're gonna be that way, the manager says she doesn't want you in the property, so you're going to, did you say that? Coming up here?
At what point in the video does that come?
Coming up in about 3 seconds.
So do you mind do me a favor, ask me those questions after I see what you're talking about?
I just
so I have
don't
something
wanna
to
keep
go on?
replaying them and irritating the courts here. Can we go to 10 minutes and 2 seconds, please? Oh, you can just press play, I guess.
Yeah.
On a second.
No, you're not. What's your name, Bethany?
Okay, cool. You're gonna be that way. The manager said that she doesn't want you on the property, so you're going to.
I would like to,
Okay, pause it. Okay. Irritated with Mark Brown just now, you looked directly at him and said, okay, you're gonna be that way, and then slapped me in handcuffs. Is that what you just witnessed?
What I witnessed was a person violating the law, refusing to leave, and...
You did witness a refusal there, did you?
Correct.
Okay.
And feelings don't go into play when it comes to a violation of the law. Article 22, or Principle 22 of the Articles of the Constitution states that free men should be governed by laws and not the whims of men.
So
Feelings
irritated,
don't have anything to do with it.
so you were irritated with Mark Brown's repetitive questioning of your badge number, weren't you?
Asked and answered, and per my general orders, I do not have to provide my name and badge number when I'm being live recorded.
Were you irritated because Mark Brown kept asking you the same question over and over again?
People ask me questions all day long. I've been doing this for almost 18 years. Questions don't bother me.
You started to question me
Questions
about my...
what?
You started to question me about my presence on that property just now, didn't you?
No, I was advising you of what was going on.
Did you question me on where Mike Sagasta lives? 10 seconds
You have to
previously.
play again so I could hear it.
9:56.
Oh yeah, please, thank you. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's actually 9:16 area where,
9:16.
yes.
what's your name?
Officer Chandler, you are now on be here per the management. We want you off property. If you're free to
Yeah,
go off property, we're gonna arrest you.
That's terrible. So you wouldn't solicit a trust fund? I'm here with Mike Sagasta.
You can talk about.
Officer Aguilar, 10524.
Are you here with friends staying at what?
Resident.
What's your name and address? Address.
What's your name and address?
Give me 1 second.
Are you a resident here? What's your name and address? He's with me.
Okay, pause it.
Okay.
Do you see you have a notepad in your hand right now, Officer Chandler?
There was a notepad in my hand, yes.
Okay, so you are in the commission of questioning me, is that correct?
Negative, you could question people without a notepad.
You are questioning me right now, correct? With your notepad out, asking me questions.
I asked your name.
You just asked me what address is Mike Sagasta living in, correct?
At what point in the video are you referring to?
Just now.
So at 9:45? So if I played at 9:45, I want to hear that question.
Okay.
So how did
Work with you, man. You're
I'm
asking
not asking you
questions
to
on a
play.
general video. You gotta get it to the seconds of what you're asking. So I know exactly what you're
I would rather that you just be honest to the court, sir. Is that possible today?
We're watching the video, so I can't be dishonest.
All right.
Sorry about that, Your Honor.
You to be professional and.
I apologize.
Treat the witness kindly, please.
I do apologize for that. It's slightly frustrating, Your Honor, that everything is on video and the witness can't remember what he watched just 2 seconds ago. Let's see here. So after you started to question me and Mark Brown irritated you, you then slammed me in handcuffs, correct?
Okay, that is negative and
That's negative?
their line of questioning. Very accusatory. Ask me fact questions, man. You got the body worn camera right there.
Just going off of the video.
You need to just ask direct questions, and you need to chunk your questions out. You're kind of asking a compound question. You need to ask individual questions.
So the form of question was off.
If he's irritated, as a single question. You can ask him if he puts you in handcuffs, after a few questions, but asking that all together, he can't give you a yes and no response because you're asking more than one question.
Okay.
Question.
Can we just play it for a little bit, please? So,
From what, where?
from right now, let's just play it for a little while. That way I can base my questioning off what he witnesses right now.
Okay, so you're staying with
Mike
that?
Sagasta. No, Mike Sagasta.
I have no clue, that doesn't mean anything to me. What's your address, sir?
Why did you give me trespass for? What? I'm just asking a general message. Was I rude?
I will in a second.
No, you're not.
What's your name, Benjamin?
Okay, cool. You're gonna be that way. The manager said that she doesn't want you on the property, so you're going to.
I would like to, Whoa, what's going on here, bro?
You're told to leave, you're trespassing, and you're putting on property.
No! God damn, you hurt me, dude! What the fuck is going on here, sir? You're a witness on this, brother. Come on, man.
Everything's on the camera.
I'm visiting Mike Sagasta here in these apartment complexes. I just walked away from him just
The
now.
manager just said that you're not
I will
welcome.
be more than happy to the phone without being violent with you, you fucking piece of shit, dude. Stop. Stop doing this.
I'm
Pause it. You just said I'm escorting you off, correct?
I don't know how you could hear that, man. I seriously don't.
Can we replay the last 5 seconds?
So, Mr. Chandler, we're not gonna keep going down this. He either is refreshed in his memory or he's not. If he's not refreshed, then I can account for that in his testimony. But if he doesn't remember and this isn't helping him, then you need to just move on.
Remember, this is the first time I've seen this video. You've had months, almost a year to go over it, right? So you may be picking up on stuff I can't hear. Really? Yeah, man, I'm trying to work with you, bro.
Let's fast forward up to 13 minutes and 10 seconds, please. Can I please have your name and your badge number and your name and badge number? You're the supervising officer on scene? Okay, I need both of your information. I need your card as well. I'm doing this to you. You know what?
Understand.
From this point on, I'm gonna invoke the 5th because you already put me in handcuffs, man.
So at this point, you gotta leave, okay?
Pause.
Fair enough?
This is your reasonable request to leave the property, right?
Objection, legal conclusion.
You're asking this was your request to leave the property?
Reasonable.
I am just basing this off of the...
So I decide what's reasonable or not, you just simply are eliciting the evidence. So you can ask, is this his request? And I decided it's reasonable, okay?
So, well, it's in the verbiage of the charging instruments.
I understand that it's in the verbiage, but it's not this officer's decision whether his actions are reasonable or not, it's mine. So you ask him about what he did that day, when he did things. You can ask him about the sequence of things. You can ask him about what he said and when he said it, how much time he gave you. But ultimately, it's my decision to decide whether his actions were reasonable or not in comparison to what's required in the statute. He doesn't get to decide what's reasonable or not. You can simply ask him the factual information and his observations. You can ask him about his statements. But whether he thinks it was reasonable or not has no bearing on whether I think it's reasonable or not.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
So just ask him about what happened.
You released me from handcuffs and gave me a request to leave the property at this point, correct?
So it looks like at 1327, looks like I'm taking the handcuffs off of you. And prior to 1327, if you play it again, it seems like you're talking to Sergeant Dial.
You released me from handcuffs, gave me a request to leave the property at this point, correct?
I'm releasing you from handcuffs. We haven't got to that point in the video. I'm gonna guess because I've never seen the video yet.
Okay. Can we play it just a little, actually, I'm sorry. Let me get a timestamp for you here. Let's go to 1320.
It seems like you'd be safer on the hood, but if he wants it in the dirt, he can have it in the dirt.
That's my property, this is somebody else's, this is not my property. I don't want to disrespect somebody else's property, man.
Fair enough. All right, yes, you understand you have to leave.
Can I please have your name and your badge number and your name and badge number? You're the supervising officer on scene?
Yeah.
Okay, I need both of your information, I need your card as well. I'm doing this, you know what?
Understand.
From this point on, I'm gonna invoke the fifth because you already put me in handcuffs, man.
So at this point, you gotta leave, okay? Fair enough? Hold still, hold still, hold still.
I'm fine, man.
Making it harder for him to get it off.
Information now.
Okay, pause it. Do you have any firsthand knowledge of me remaining or re-entering on this property after this point right here?
So we reach this point, talk about 1340 on the body worn camera. And is this still Officer Aguilar's body worn?
Do you have any firsthand knowledge of me re-entering or remaining on the property after you leave me from this point?
So can we play it to see what I do after that?
I'm asking if you have any firsthand knowledge, sir.
I don't think so, because I think after this, let me refer to my report. I don't actually remember what happened after this. So I stated my police report here. It says, let's see, I walked him to another area in attempts to have him cool down and get out of the situation, but that did not work. At this time, other officers arrived and took over from there. I walked back and got his black shirt guy's camera and gave it back to him. I had no further involvement with this incident until I was called back minutes later to assist the other officers off property with these two subjects because the two male auditors were now committing other crimes with GOC and possible assault.
So you do not have any firsthand knowledge of me re-entering or remaining on the property after this point, according to your report?
According to my report.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you. On and for the record, can we, go ahead, I'm sorry, were you getting ready to speak?
No.
Okay. So can we let the record of the court reflect that Officer Chandler, from the time he released me in the center of the apartment complex, he has no firsthand knowledge of me re-entering or remaining on the property after this point?
I've heard the evidence.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to 18 minutes and 37 seconds.
What's it?
18:37. Go another 30 seconds.
26. Yeah, 9:36, 22. Holy shit. That's fucked up, man. Thank you very much.
So you got my name and badge number, that's the case number based on the incident that we're working through today.
Okay.
I can't tell you a lot about the incident, but,
That's fine.
I can tell you that it's kind of sad, very personal for the family.
I know somebody got shot. I do understand. I've been shot 7 times with a 45. I've shot my kneecaps. I've shot both my kneecaps as a kid. I do understand being shot is painful.
Okay,
So,
do you have any questions for me?
you know what? I do have a lot of questions, but I'm gonna let you guys get back to your job. And I'm
I'd
gonna go
appreciate
through this
that, because
property.
we have some grieving family on that
I
side.
understand.
Let it play.
So I'd like to go deal with it.
Let it play.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna get back off of this property, and you need to fucking have a talk with that dude, man. I'm dead serious. I am gonna
Hey, are you with that guy?
What happened?
He's starting a fight with somebody else.
You just assaulted him.
No, he didn't. I saw what happened. He did not. I saw what happened.
Okay, pause it. You just witnessed me run off of the property, didn't you?
I had the body on camera, you're still on property.
You're witnessing me run towards public property, correct?
I witnessed you running, I can't dictate or tell you your mental state at the time of where you're running to.
That's fine. Did you obtain any probable cause for an arrest for trespassing after this point here, or was your probable cause? I'm sorry, let me reword the question. Can you strike that? Did you obtain any probable cause for an arrest after this point?
Your Honor, objection. Probable cause is a legal term and the finder of.
So again, you're asking him questions that are ultimately my decision. So you can ask him about his investigations, you can ask him what he did that day.
Okay,
But the legal conclusions are my decision, not his.
okay. You had no further involvement with me personally until I was out on the public sidewalk, correct?
I'll have to refer to my report, I don't remember. It states here, had no further involvement with the incident until I was called back minutes later to assist the other officers off property with the two subjects, because the 2 male auditors were now committing other crimes of GOC and possible assault. Responded now under case 2209260183 to custody of the male subject wearing an orange shirt. Did we still keep going?
Did you answer the question?
You gotta answer, ask it again.
Go ahead and do it.
Did you have any further involvement with me while I was on the private property before I entered the public sidewalk?
The only recollection I have was stated in my police report here that I was contacted after a few minutes.
So your answer is no then, correct?
Let me refer to my report again. Responded now under case 2209260183 to custody of the male subject wearing an orange shirt. He refused to give his name and date of birth at first, and he gave me a name of Mark Brown, but refused. So that's to do with Mark. See where I had contact with you, I just don't know when and where. Susan's partner in the black shirt was cited and released as well. I attempted to assist getting Mark up, but his partner and guy in the black shirt told me not to touch him. Once they were up, Mark was fine and moving about as if nothing happened. Male in the black shirt was cited as well for listed charges. Black shirt guy gave a name of Roy Tribolani, 10/18/94. That name returned negative in a records check.
Okay. What was your understanding of what the manager asked you to do?
are you referring to April Bender?
Yep.
Okay, in what point?
What was your understanding of what the manager asked you to do?
At what point, what are you referring to? What was she asking?
I'm asking you the identical question the prosecution already asked you. Your answer to that question during your previous testimony was to remove the subject she did not want on the property. Is that correct?
Again, apparently, I don't recall saying that.
Okay.
If you have dictation of it.
Your answer was negative. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Prosecutor asked you, did you have to ask the subject more than once? Your answer was negative last month, wasn't it?
Are we referring to the manager or you?
I'm referring to the prosecutor's examination of you last month.
Of what though? Who am I saying this to? Negative.
Clarify the question that you're asking.
Okay.
Who am I speaking to, April or you?
What was your understanding of what the alleged manager, April Binder, asked you to do?
So on the case report, it states that after I advised the male subject, Officer Aguilar was with the property manager of the complex, April Bender. They were standing in front of the male recording. I took her away out of view from the camera so she did not have to be in that environment since one of her tenants just killed himself and she was still shook up.
So your answer to the prosecution was to remove the subject she did not want on the property. Is that correct?
Again, I don't recall what I stated.
Okay, I'll move on. Did you have to ask me more than once to leave the property?
I would have to refer to the video in my case report for that.
Your testimony last month, the answer to that question was negative, wasn't it?
Again, I don't recall what I said last month.
And then the prosecution then followed up with more than once. Is that correct? And then you changed your testimony 3 seconds later, isn't that correct? To, have I asked him more than once? Oh yeah, I did. Is that what you stated 1 month ago from today?
Again, I couldn't recall.
Okay. What was the outcome of your investigation for ripping off your badge?
Okay, what investigation and outcome? What are you referring to? I think I answered this.
You ripped off your badge.
You know, I'm gonna find that this is irrelevant to the charges in this case.
This is irrelevant?
Yeah. Because it doesn't go towards establishing or discrediting the charges in this case.
I'm just trying to establish an impeachment here. I can't get any direct answers. What's that?
What is the impeachment?
The fact that he has no problem answering the prosecution's questions at the drop of a hat with detail, and he cannot answer the same exact questions today 1 month later. I don't believe that this is based on his memory. I believe that somebody has informed him not to answer anything without referring back to his report.
Argue that in your closing.
Okay.
But, you know, he's answering how he's answering. And you can make arguments about what you think about that in your closing argument. But the fact that he ripped his badge off doesn't negate or create evidence that go to the elements of the charges in this case.
So I can't ask the exact questions that the prosecution asked last month today. That's what I'm doing.
Well, they're already in evidence. So you also can't just continually ask the same questions. I've already got copious notes. I already have the information and I don't need it twice.
I'm just trying to prove that he changes his testimony, Your Honor. I'll stop with the questioning as far as that goes.
And just to give you a heads up on that, an answer is predicated on how the question is worded.
When you pulled the manager behind the patrol car, your body cam was muted, correct?
Can
Objection.
we look at my body worn camera?
There's an objection.
Foundation, which is exactly.
So, it would be helpful if we're going to use this officer's body worn camera, to refresh his recollection. It may actually be clearer as to what he's saying as well.
Okay, so what are we doing here?
That's Chandler, just tell me where you.
I don't want Chandler's body cam. It's all muted.
Okay, if it's muted, then why is my question again?
So what is your question again, sir?
I don't remember now. I've been interrupted too much. I'm gonna move on. At the point of putting handcuffs on me, you had no intentions on arresting me, correct? At that point in time.
I couldn't speak to my culpable mental state at that time.
Well, you just watched the body cam of you saying, you're getting off on our way towards the secondary location in the middle of the apartment complex, correct?
Those are physical actions, not culpable mental state actions.
Did you have any intentions on arresting me for trespassing the time that you put the handcuffs on me and then went and released me?
No, that's a good question. Again, I can't recall my intentions at that point. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I couldn't tell you what my culpable mental state was at that point.
You told me during transporting me to the secondary location, you're getting off, didn't you?
Where did I transport you?
To the center of the apartment complex. Walk-
Did I place you in a car?
You walked me to the center of the apartment complex.
Okay, and then can we go back to that video footage there? And what point of time were you referring to in the body worn camera?
Okay, I'll go grab it.
Mr. Tripling, are you referring from the point in time that you were placed in handcuffs to the point in time the handcuffs were taken off?
Correct, when he told me he's gonna walk me off the property.
Okay, so why don't you ask him in that confine?
I could just play the video. She's already got it up. I really appreciate that. This is Aguilar's, correct?
Yes.
We are at 10 minutes and 32 seconds area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, here in these apartment complexes, I just walked away from him just
The
now.
manager just said that you're not
I will
welcome.
be more than happy to the phone without being violent with you, you fucking piece of shit, dude. Stop. Stop doing this.
I'm escorting you off. Pause it right there. You just stated I'm escorting you off. Is that correct?
Dude, I can't hear that, man.
Can the courts hear it?
I can hear.
Okay, that's fine then. We'll just move on.
And just so the court is aware, I do have hearing problems, and that's documented by the city.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any firsthand knowledge of me being disorderly? Let me rephrase that. You have no firsthand knowledge of me being disorderly, correct?
At what point?
Any point.
Yes.
Disturbing witnesses or victims with unreasonable noise. At what point are you a witness to that? And please tell me what you witnessed.
Can we play the video?
I'm asking you firsthand knowledge, sir. testimony was just yes, so can you please explain?
Yes, for DOC, right?
Yes, for
Not
disorderly
trespassing.
conduct, for unreasonable noise, A2.
Okay. Sorry, I was thinking of trespassing.
That's fine.
Let me refer to my report. So I retract my statement. My fault on that. I thought you were referring to trespassing, but DOC, do I have firsthand knowledge of your DOC is what you're asking?
Correct.
No, I don't.
So you have no, did you ever at any point have probable cause for an arrest for disorderly conduct?
There was probable cause for arrest for DOC.
Can you explain what that probable cause was, sir?
You would have to ask Sergeant Dial that.
You are the arresting officer, correct?
I'm the one that was assigned the case, correct?
Okay, so do you have probable cause or firsthand knowledge of me being disorderly at any point in time?
So, hold on, Mr. Tripolini.
Okay.
There's a difference between having probable cause, which can be the accumulation of several different officers' observations and or witnesses' testimony, and his firsthand knowledge. Probable cause doesn't have to be gathered just by this officer's firsthand knowledge.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
So you can ask him about his firsthand knowledge, and then ultimately, the evidence of all the witnesses that have taken the stand is what I then decide if there's been proof beyond a reasonable doubt of disorderly conduct by you.
Can I ask him if he personally had probable cause for this?
It's irrelevant.
Is it relevant?
It's irrelevant because the standard at this point in time is not probable cause.
Okay.
That's a low standard. It's proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay,
So, and I decide that, not.
gotcha, gotcha. I'm brand new to this, so excuse me, I apologize.
Okay.
So you don't have any firsthand knowledge of me being disorderly that day. That was your testimony just now, is that correct? Yes, okay. And you don't have any firsthand knowledge of me re-entering or remaining after you released me from handcuffs. That is your testimony today, correct?
So the point of the video, just make sure we're on the same page. You asked me previously if I knew where you're running to. I don't know where you're running to. And I think I answered that already.
I do think it's asked and answered.
All right.
I think he answered the question.
Did the alleged manager ask you, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Do you have any knowledge of the manager wanting anybody else trespassed off of that property other than myself that day?
I don't know what knowledge he had at that point.
Do you have any knowledge?
Do I have any knowledge if Mrs. April Bender had any other knowledge of other people on the property? Is that what you're asking?
Never mind. I'm just gonna rest. I'm done. I'm going back and forth. I don't want to annoy the courts any more than I already have with my repetitive questioning of the same exact thing over and over again. So I'm gonna rest my case. I can't get anything that I want as far as questions answered from this gentleman. So no further questions from me, Your Honor.
Okay. And
I'm just-
you read your own?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and now Mr. Chandler be excused.
Yes, thank you.
The state's next witness.
Safety call, Sergeant Dyer, I'm sorry.
Can I verbally motion for the request of exclusion from his things, or is that something I do with like the directed verdict? Because
I'm sorry, I'm not entirely understanding what you're asking for.
I want to verbally motion for an exclusion to trial from this guy, because
Exclusion of what?
his testimony, his whole, everything with him.
Of Officer Chandler?
Of Officer Chandler, yes, no Chandler.
Okay, I will deny that motion. Officer Chandler has answered questions, he was a state's witness called, you had the opportunity to cross-examine him, which you utilized, and I'm not going to, strike his testimony. Okay, go ahead and get your question asked.
Judge, time to be dismissed.
You know, we still need to hear the offer of proof on anything additional, although I hope that you have asked all the questions of Officer Chandler at this point, especially given.
I have not. There's no point in it, so letting it go.
So you're okay with him being excused?
I do want to examine him in my as a witness for me, though.
Okay. So I've given you the opportunity to cross-examine. You can ask on cross everything that you would possibly need to ask him on a redirect. So I am inclined to excuse Officer Chandler and allow him to leave because you've had full latitude to question him on cross.
I'm going to object to it.
So you're objecting to him
Yep,
being excused?
I am.
All right, at this point, Officer Chandler, I will have you remain, and once I hear an offer of proof on any of Mr. Chandler's witnesses, then I'll determine at that point if you can be excused.
Got it, Judge.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you. All right, Sergeant Lau, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, please be seated.
Good afternoon, can you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Sergeant Dustin Dial, D-I-A-L, badge number 41820.
And who's your employer?
The city of Tucson Police.
Can you describe your training to be a Tucson police officer?
So in 1999, I was hired as a Tucson Police recruit, and I attended the Southern Arizona Law Enforcement Training Center for approximately 4 to 5 months. From there, I graduated, and I was assigned to Operation Division Midtown as a recruit trainee. I completed about a 16-week FTO program, at which time I graduated, and I was assigned to patrol within Operation Division Midtown. I served as a patrol officer for approximately 14 years, and then I was assigned to the mental health support team, where I served approximately 6. From there, I went back to patrol, and I served for a couple of years until I was promoted to sergeant, and I was assigned to Operation Division West.
And during your training to be an officer, were you briefed or taught on some of the statutes of the state of Arizona?
Yes.
Could you describe briefly which those were?
So the primary focus was Arizona Revised Statutes and Title 28, the criminal traffic statutes.
Were you working September 26, 2022?
Yes, I was.
Do you remember what your assignment was?
I was assigned as the field supervisor for Operation Division West, and I'm assigned to the squad that works from 14 to 24, Friday through Saturday.
So that's 2 p.m. to midnight?
Yes.
Okay. Were you dispatched to an address on Prince Road?
Yes,
Do you remember the address?
540 West Prince Road.
And was it then and is it now within the city limits of Tucson?
Yes,
What were you dispatched for?
a shooting with a victim that was down, possibly deceased.
So when you're dispatched for a shooting, what does that mean? What are the possible scenarios? Just give me a few, no?
The possible scenarios could be anything from a suicide to a homicide. And calls come in from the general public, dispatchers relay the information, so the information that we had was very sparse. At the moment, we had confirmation that subject had been shot. We didn't know the severity, and we didn't know if the subject was completely deceased. We didn't know if at the moment of dispatch whether it was a homicide or a suicide.
So you didn't know who the shooter was?
I'll object.
Based on what?
Based on a leading question. She just said, so you don't know who the shooter was?
I can repeat.
Go ahead.
When you were dispatched for shooting, did you have any knowledge of the shooter?
At the initial dispatch, no, we did not.
Okay, so when you're dispatched to a shooting, what is your, did you know it was not in a business complex? Did you know it was a residential area?
Yes, I knew it was at the apartment complex at 540 West Prince.
So what's, as a officer, what is your main concern when you're dispatched with the knowledge that you had, that there was a shooting, but you don't know much else? You knew there was a victim, correct?
Well, yes, I did. So we had enough information given to us to indicate that an individual had been shot. Blood had been seen. We didn't know if the suspect had been completely, was dead. So our primary focus is the preservation of life. So we had an apartment that was given to us, so as many officers that were available responded. We, to make contact at the apartment to render aid and kind of cordon off the area to preserve the scene, but also look for any potential suspects.
Okay. On September 26th, did you make contact with a defendant?
Yes,
Do you see him in the courtroom now?
yes, he's sitting at the defense table on the charcoal shirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness identified the defendant, Roy Tricoloni?
Yes.
Thank you.
Record.
Did you ask Mr. Tricoloni to leave the property?
Numerous times.
Why did you ask him to leave the property?
While I was on scene after we had secured the apartment, I noticed that Officer Chandler was addressing Mr. Tricoloni. At the point that I made contact with Chandler and Mr. Tricoloni, Chandler had advised that he had asked Mr. Tricoloni to leave as well. And so I reiterated that and asked him to leave so we could continue with the homicide-suicide scene.
Okay, is that normal procedure for you to rely on the knowledge of other officers in seeing and deciding what's going on the scene?
Yes, each individual officer can develop their own probable cause.
Okay, does the individual officer who develops the cause have to cite that person? Or can the citation be made by another officer based on the knowledge of the initial officer?
I'm gonna object.
What's your objection?
It is improper form of questioning. Improper form.
I'm gonna overrule it and allow the question.
Alright.
Yes, it's very common for officers that are all on the same call to assist their fellow officers by simply completing a cite. And then in the case report, it is indicated who developed the probable cause if it's not by the actual officer writing the report itself.
Okay, do you remember how many times you asked Mr. Tricoloni to leave the area?
In the entirety of the contact, I do not. I would, if I had to guess, I would say it would be over 10.
Okay. Were you wearing a body-worn camera that day?
Yes,
Would it reflect your interactions and actions that day?
yes.
Judge, I believe it's State Exhibit Oh, two, sorry,
States Exhibit 2.
Yeah,
And this
sorry.
is Officer Giles' body worn camera.
yes.
Okay.
May I keep notes? Just tick marks to count.
Will that tick marks to count?
How many times I asked him to leave? I thought we were gonna watch it, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Not necessarily, Your Honor, I just wanted,
Oh, I'm sorry.
training
I'm-
and experience, no, it's all good.
My bad, I was waiting for it to queue up and I was
sure.
gonna keep count.
If that is ultimately, then yes, that's fine. If that
It was
count,
just to
but-
keep count so I can provide a more accurate answer.
I see.
So I'm going to play the beginning of your body worn camera, and once you identify both the fact that it is yours and the date or the event, can you please let me know?
Yes, I recognize this footage. That is me. That is my vehicle and my arm.
And how do you know it's the events of September 26th?
I recognize the apartment complex, I recognize the vehicle, and I recognize the body worn camera from when I reviewed it as well.
How many, do you remember how many police cars were dispatched?
No, I don't know the exact number. It was quite a few.
Do you know why more than one was dispatched?
Well, because if this was a potential homicide and shooting with a suspect outstanding, the potential for loss of life is extremely high. And as a result, every available officer will respond to an apartment complex, especially this densely populated. So to minimize the any potential future loss of life, as many officers will go as possible.
Okay, thank you.
I was recording, the manager said she doesn't want him on the property, and so he's trespassing, so I asked him to leave, he said, no, fuck you, so.
Okay.
From your training and experience, when you ask a citizen to leave a place because it isn't safe, do they leave or do they argue? Based on your training and experience, what is the common thing that you encounter?
Based on my prior experience, most requests are obeyed and individuals leave the scene.
Do you ever need to give reason why you ask somebody to leave a place?
We don't need to give a reason, however, typically we do.
Why do you do that?
Because it helps explain the reasoning behind it, whether it's a safety reason, suspect outstanding, active scene, potential danger, or a request by a representative of a property.
Sure.
Yes, this gentleman here, I was very respectful of their space, never got involved with them at all. I asked them, how's every officer doing? You guys okay? Did I not, sir? Yes. That guy just ran up on me and just went crazy on me. Seriously, man, something wrong with that guy's head right there. He told me I'm trespassing. I said, look, man, he walked over there to the management and solicited that on me, but here, however, I have a guest of Michael Sagasti in these apartments, right here. I literally just left this picnic table too.
Do you know who this person is that they visited?
I do not.
Is that relevant to your request to leave?
It shows why he may be there, but no, it's not relevant because no matter what, he just confirmed to me that he is not a resident of the apartment complex and he has the ability to leave.
Okay.
Seconds ago to walk around the court.
Okay.
So there's this truck right there, it's got Ford right there, the ground floor.
Okay.
Did you ever check who the owner of the Ford was?
No,
Is it something you're required to do when you ask somebody to leave?
no.
So I'm telling you right now that there is no trespass and no management, nobody's giving me a formal trespass.
What's a formal trespass? Is that
A verbal or otherwise written request, but typically verbal when it comes to businesses or establishments from a representative of the complex to leave.
At this point, did that already happen?
Per my contact with Officer Chandler, yes.
And he just, look at what he did with me. Look at my arm right here. He yanked my fucking arm.
Did the manager tell you to leave?
No, not at all. No, sir. Hey man, this guy's fucking crazy. Just walk away, dude. Trust me.
Here.
Don't damage my equipment, sir.
I'm not.
Don't sit on someone else's hood, too. I'd rather just sit right here in the dirt. I don't wanna scratch the
Set it in the dirt, set it in the dirt.
Yeah, I don't wanna scratch.
That's fine.
I don't wanna
You know,
scratch.
it seems like it would be safer on the hood, but if he wants it in the dirt, he can have it in the dirt.
That's my property. This is somebody else's. This is not my property. I don't wanna disrespect somebody else's property, man.
Fair enough. Alright, so you understand that you have to leave?
Can I please have your name and your badge number and your name and badge number? You're the supervising officer?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I need both of your information. I need your card as well.
I'm
doing
giving
this.
it to you.
You
Do
know
you
what?
understand?
From this point on, I'm gonna invoke the fifth because you already put me in handcuffs, right?
So, do you have any doubt, just having watched this brief interaction, that Mr. Tripoloni was not asked to leave already?
No.
So at this point, you gotta leave, okay? Fair enough?
Is that the first time you asked him?
Yes.
Hold still.
Why are you asking him to hold still?
Because Officer Chandler's trying to take the handcuffs off, but he's twisting, he's turning, he's reaching down for his camera, and he's making it super difficult. So I'm actually trying to help him out to keep him from getting injured by twisting and turning inside that handcuff. And I even tell him here in the next second, you know, you're making it more difficult, he can't get the keyhole.
Okay, so, did he stop, moving around to make it easier for Officer Chandler? Do you remember?
I think at the very end, right before the handcuff came off.
You're making it harder for him to get it off.
Information now.
Chandler 48788. There you go.
No, I need your card for your policy. I need.
What arm was it, do you remember, that, was the last one to be released?
I believe it was his right arm.
Your card for your policy, and I'm leaving. I just need your card.
I'll write it down for you. Actually, I don't even have business cards, okay?
That for your policy,
All right.
you're supposed to, right? You're the supervising officer.
There is no general order that says we shall
Look at
have.
what he just did to me.
So, was that caused from what? Can you explain to me? The injury that he's complaining about?
I object. It's speculation.
I'm gonna find that it's also irrelevant.
Okay.
He damaged me. I am a victim here. You were supposed to protect and serve. Thank you, man. You were fucking awesome. And wait a minute. Yeah, it was you. Thank you for the way you acted over there. Your cordialness and everything else will get you on your way in life. This guy is a fucking nasty son of a bitch. He is endangering every one of your lives daily by what he's doing. Look what he did to me.
You know what?
You know what I mean?
Chandler,
Thank you, sir. Can I have that piece of
number is-
paper, please? Because I'm out of here.
I'm actually not done. I'm writing more info
Okay,
down
thank
for
you.
you, okay?
So what kind of information did you give Mr. Tripoloni?
Yeah, he wanted the case number and all of our names and badge numbers.
Is that something that you normally do?
Yes, absolutely.
I do appreciate that, but you need to grab a whip on that, dude, man.
What's the call number associated with this?
His information is right here, right?
What's the date?
Says 27,
26.
26.
No,
26.
26.
Yeah, 9:26, 22. Holy shit.
Do you hear the screaming in the background?
Yes.
Object.
Do you-
What's the objection?
Relevance.
Well, I think that goes to the disorderly conduct.
And hearsay.
Well, it's not the statements themselves, it's can you hear? So I will allow the question.
That's fucked up, man. Thank you very much.
So you got my name and badge number. That's the case number based on the incident that we're working here today.
Okay.
I can't tell you a lot about the incident, but I can tell you that it's kind of sad and very personal for the family.
I know some
All
of you.
right, so
I've been shot 7 times with a 45 and shot my kneecaps. I've been shot both my kneecaps as a kid. I do understand being shot things.
okay.
So,
Do you have any questions for me?
you know what? I do have a lot of questions, but I'm gonna let you guys get back to your job. And
I'd appreciate that because we have some grieving family on that
I
side,
understand that.
so I'd like to go deal with that.
I'm gonna get back.
Did he let you go and get back to your job?
No.
What happened?
So Mr. Tripoloni ends up running to the south end of the property, at which confrontation occurs with residents, and as a result, it draws more unit officers to that side of the complex instead of getting back to the scene.
Can you estimate how much time you spent with Mr. Tripoloni during the incident instead of, I don't wanna say doing your job, but instead of focusing on what you were called for originally?
In the end, it's in totality on my body-worn camera, but I would have to estimate maybe 20 minutes or more.
And how does that harm the investigation?
Well, because the officers here are not helping me locate the suspect, process the scene, keep it secure, and they're out here dealing with Mr. Tripolini and the confrontation that occurred.
Okay.
I'm also the only supervisor on for the whole division at that moment. So I have to keep oh, excuse me, I misspoke. Sergeant Carmona was here on scene with me. That means both supervisors, him and I, are the only ones for the entire division. So we have to manage the call load for the entire division as well as manage our resources.
And how many officers is that?
I don't know, I have to look at the roster for
Okay.
the day, but I know.
Are we
I
talking
know
dozens or several?
Several.
Okay, all right. And are they all on site?
Not every single one of them, because there are some other priorities that some officers were on. However, the beeping in the background that you can hear on the radio there is an emergency tone, indicating that there is another emergency that came through that other officers and other resources are having to deal with as well.
All right. Were you investigated by the Office of Professional Standards as a result of this incident?
Yes.
Did you receive any reprimand?
No.
Any consequences?
No.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Cross-examine.
Do you have any firsthand, how's it going, Officer Dial? Sorry. Do you have any firsthand knowledge of me re-entering or remaining on this property after I left?
No, just crossing the threshold of the driveway over by where the sidewalk is. After this, you go to the sidewalk at which you remain only probably an inch from the landscaping.
Can I give him a copy of H, the overhead picture of the apartment complex?
The one that we used last time?
Yes. I have a copy I can give to him.
Yeah, you can. I have that one if you help.
That's perfect,
do
actually.
it all.
That's perfect.
So this is,
God.
that's exhibit H?
This is exhibit
Oh,
H for me, yes.
It's not identical, but
Okay, what is the state's exhibit then, so that we know what we're utilizing?
five.
Can I approach the TV screen?
Yes, you may.
I was detained and released and given a reasonable request to leave from this point right here, correct?
Yes.
In this gravel. You witnessed me run towards an altercation out here in the street, correct?
It was not in the street.
On the sidewalk here. You witnessed me run towards Prince Road towards an altercation, is that correct?
Yes.
Was I under arrest? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Was I charged with trespassing at this point in time?
No, I decided to have you released in the hopes you would leave.
Okay. So after running to the sidewalk alongside Prince Road, did you ever witness me re-enter or remain on the property after that point?
No, you stayed on the sidewalk right next to the landscaping.
Okay, so this sidewalk here is what you're talking about, right?
I'm not talking about the drive.
This
I'm
sidewalk
talking
here.
from,
We're gonna
You
allow an
remain.
officer to show where
you remain there to yell at these residents. And at one point, you did run across the drive over here and then came back.
Okay, so your testimony is that I never went back onto the private property. I stayed on the public sidewalk, correct? Even crossing the driveway on the public sidewalk at one point, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and this is the driveway here you are talking about, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have any firsthand knowledge of me re-entering or remaining on this property after the reasonable request in the middle, is that correct?
So, no, you never went back onto the property if you want to get technical.
Thank you. Do you ever recall me on this private sidewalk right in front of Tyreek Coleman's house?
No.
You witnessed me run from here to here on your body cam, and you personally witnessed that, correct?
Yeah.
Did you ever witness me get up in front of Tyreek Coleman's or Miss Marina Quiroz' apartment complex here at any point in time?
No.
If Marina Quiroz testified that I was on that private sidewalk, that would be false according to your testimony, correct?
I don't know what she testified to.
If Marina Quiroz, Tyreek Coleman's wife, testified that I was on that private sidewalk, that would be false according to your firsthand knowledge, correct?
From what I personally witnessed, I did not personally witness you on that sidewalk.
Okay, thank you. Now, can we bring up, let's go with Dial's body-worn camera. That is Exhibit F on my end.
I believe it's 2 on the one that we're
It's-
using right
Yes, so let's go with exhibit 2 since that's what we're actually using.
now. What,
I'm gonna go to, sorry, I lost my page here. Let's go to 1317, please.
I was recording, the manager said she doesn't want him on the property, and so he's trespassing, so I asked him to leave, he said no, fuck you, so.
Pause it.
Okay.
Did you hear, you just heard Officer Chandler say that I told him, no, fuck you, I'm not leaving the property, correct?
That's what he said.
Okay. Would that give probable cause for, I'm sorry,
He doesn't decide.
what's that? I know, that's why I stopped myself, I could strike that. If an individual refuses to leave private property by telling an officer, no, fuck you, would that be an arrestable, would that be probable cause for an arrest for trespassing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why at this point, probable cause had already been established.
Did you obtain, I'm sorry, I can't even ask about probable cause.
I already testified that Chandler did.
Okay. So in a couple minutes on this video, at about 15 minutes and 55 seconds, I'm sure you just heard me say, thank you, sir. Can I have that piece of paper because I'm out of here? Did you hear me say that?
I don't remember out of here. I mean, I don't remember that specific.
I was not arrested for trespassing at this point, right?
No, you were under arrest. You're in handcuffs. You're under arrest. You are under arrest for the probable cause that Chandler established. I decided to have you released, hoping you would leave.
Your decision to have me released and give me a request to leave the property had nothing to do with Chandler, correct?
My personal request
Yes,
to have you leave the property?
yes.
I don't understand the question. Can you rephrase?
Did Chandler have anything to do with your decision of releasing me and not citing me for trespassing at this point?
Chandler? No, it was my decision based on the resources I had, the incident we were working.
So you did not cite me for the trespassing at this point?
No, because I thought you were gonna leave.
Okay.
Even though you did not tell me, I was hoping you would. So I didn't have to tie up my officers further.
Can we go to
I'm gonna break.
1730?
Sir, is your phone on?
Me?
Yes, yes,
No? Why would you ask me that?
because you're holding it up. Can you place it on the seat next to you, please?
No, it's all right. I'm fine. It's not on.
I still need you to place it on the seat next to you.
So you want me to stand a certain way while I do it, or?
No, you can stay seated and place the phone on the seat next to you, please.
Oh, is that some kind of rule, or
Yes.
that my phone can't be like this?
Correct. You need to
If it's
put it-
off?
You need to place it on the seat next to you, sir.
Hmm,
Sir, you need to place it on the seat next to you.
I can't hold my own property in my hand?
No, you need to place it on the seat next to you. That's what I'm asking you to do. Have you placed it on the seat next to you, sir?
Oh, you're asking me to?
Yes, place the phone, thank you. And please leave it there. Okay. You may resume.
You heard me in this footage a minute ago state, "Thank you, sir. Can I have that piece of paper because I'm out of here?" Is that correct?
I don't remember the term out of here.
Can we go back to
We can watch it again.
1555?
I'd be
Yeah.
happy to tell you, I just don't remember.
I've seen it.
Okay.
I can hear that.
Okay.
So, let's move on.
You told me I have the right to visit people, but when I'm done visiting, I have to leave the property. And if I'm found loitering on any of the public spaces, they can call 911 and have me arrested. Is that correct?
That's what I said, correct.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. The judge couldn't hear that. Did you hear that?
Go ahead and repeat it.
I'll repeat it. Sergeant Dial, you told me, so you have a right to visit people. When you're done visiting and you have to leave, if you're found loitering on any of the public spaces, they can call 911 and have you arrested. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Then you gave me a request to leave and you witnessed me leave the property. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You asked me multiple times, do you have any questions for me during this detainment? Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Do you have any firsthand knowledge of me I'm sorry, strike that from the record. Let me rephrase the question. You witnessed an assault that day, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Did you state on your body cam that you seen everything happen down at the end of the apartment complex?
At that moment, yes, I did say that, because at that moment, I thought I did see everything. But I was open to the fact that I maybe might have missed something.
You then told me, here's the bottom line, you still don't have a right to disturb their peace. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you hear me on your body camera stating, he lives right there, right? When I was on the public sidewalk beside Prince Road?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. Did you hear me say, we'll just file a lawsuit then?
Yeah, I believe so. Something about a subpoena as well?
Yes, yes. Did you ever hear me state out or call out the alleged victim's address while I was alongside Prince Road?
No, not his address.
Okay. Did you ever witness me yell or make unreasonable noise towards Marina Quiroz or Tariq Coleman?
Everything that you said was designed to cause agitation, so yes.
What did you hear me say?
Well, initially, right off the bat, as soon as I got there, you said you're gonna go get a gun. So you yell out loud enough for everybody to hear that you're gonna go get a gun and introduce a lethal threat to a non-lethal situation. That, in my mind, can only really be done for one reason, all right? To spin up the situation, you know, and to cause some agitation, all right? Then you know that Mark Brown is live streaming. You're probably live streaming too, not really sure, but you're at least recording, I mean, by your own admission. And you say he lives right there, right? Loud enough for him to hear and for your audience to hear. And as a result, I believe that that was done specifically to agitate him because he addresses you. He addresses you and then you reply with profanity.
Did you witness Tariq Coleman come outside with a firearm and a bulletproof vest on?
No, I did not.
Did you witness Tariq Coleman cross the publicly accessible private drive to approach Mark Brown that day?
No, I did not.
According to your body cam, did you witness it on your body cam when you reviewed it?
No, I remember seeing them in close proximity to each other, but I believe Tariq Coleman was already out of uniform and didn't have a shirt on.
Can we fast forward to can we move it up to 2250? Can we back it up about 15 seconds? I'm sorry.
So 30?
Yeah, about there. It's fine. Here we go. Pause it for 1 second, please. Am I standing on a public sidewalk there on the right-hand side of the screen?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Can we go to 2220, please?
If I arrest him, I'm arresting him for disorderly conduct.
Pause it.
Understand? That's
So your testimony is that you did not witness the assault Tariq Coleman did to Mark Brown. However, while we are standing there trying to get him put in handcuffs, did you just threaten Mark Brown with an arrest if you arrest Tariq Coleman?
Yep.
What were you going to arrest Tariq Coleman for?
I said if I arrest him for assault, then I'm arresting Mark Brown for DOC.
What firsthand knowledge did you have that he assaulted an individual?
Well, you guys are all telling me that he assaulted him. So even though I didn't witness it, this proves that I was open to at least the possibility and I wasn't discounting it.
However, you did, on your body cam, say that you witnessed everything that happened there, didn't you?
But as my previous testimony stated, I thought I saw the entirety of their interaction, but I was open to the possibility that I didn't.
So you thought you saw an interaction, but you were open to a possibility that you didn't. That's your testimony today?
Yes.
Mr. Triboni, how is this relevant to the charges in this case?
It is relevant to the retaliatory nature of the charges, to the thin blue line protecting their fellow correction officers and everything else, and making an arrest on First Amendment protected activity when he could have made an arrest for an actual assault that occurred that he witnessed to. He witnessed this. I wouldn't be here if there wasn't an assault, Your Honor.
So, I'll allow one or two more questions along this line to establish that point, but we're getting far afield of the relevance to the charges in this case.
It's completely relevant to the disorderly conduct charge that he gave me. It was a retaliatory charge, Your Honor, and that's what I'm trying to prove.
Oh, I said I will allow a couple more questions on this.
Did you send your subordinates to arrest me for disorderly conduct shortly after this point here?
Yes, I did.
And you advised them to arrest me for DOC and the other individual for DOC, and that was the extent of your charges, correct?
That was the extent of what I said, yes.
That's the extent. Was it Officer Chandler's decision to charge for the failure to provide ID and the trespassing, or was that your choice?
Objection, this is a charge that was dismissed by the state.
So,
I just want to see how retaliatory all these charges are as one.
I'll allow the question based on that context.
Thank you. Was it your decision or Chandler's for the other charges?
Chandler's.
Or Chandler's, okay. Did you give Chandler, was the probable cause obtained by you for the disorderly conduct?
Yes.
For the disorderly conduct?
Yes.
The probable cause question, it was formed by the officer, but that is not for the fact finder to decide.
I'll allow the question of who decided to determine the probable cause, but not whether they actually had probable cause or not. At this point, we are at the point of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and there was no request for a motion hearing on probable cause.
Thank you. Do you have firsthand knowledge of me trespassing on this day?
Yes, the PC was established by Officer Chandler.
Do you have firsthand knowledge of me trespassing on this day?
Yeah, I saw you on the property talking to Officer Chandler before he tried to take you into custody. If I may make an additional statement as well. I didn't discount the fact that there may have been an assault, even though I didn't directly witness it with my eyes. So I gathered all the evidence and I submitted it to Sergeant Peak to follow up with and conduct an investigation. That investigation, I even added evidence to it by taking Mark Brown's live stream. And he assigned it to Detector Dobell, who presented it to the Tucson City attorney.
Do you have any firsthand knowledge of me entering or remaining unlawfully on any real property after the reasonable request to leave by you and Chandler?
I thought we already answered this.
Well, I'm just going off of the, can I hand this to him? Or
Well, I think it's asked and answered. We've already asked him these questions.
the answer was, I
You've
don't,
established that you were asked by him at the midpoint of the property when the cuffs were taken off to leave, and that you then left the property. He indicated that you were then on the public sidewalk.
great, thank you, Your Honor. Out on this public sidewalk, what noise was unreasonable that I made?
Everything that you said was loud enough for every victim to hear, and it was designed to cause agitation or strife. We can play my video to show it all.
At what point did I make unreasonable noise?
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay,
All right.
you're getting into the realm of what is my decision.
Okay, all
He
right.
testifies about what he observed and saw, and then I decide whether it was unreasonable. Okay?
Okay. You sent your subordinates to go arrest me before somebody actually said that they wanted to press charges, didn't they? Didn't you?
Objection, faith, relevance, foundation, everything.
I'll rephrase it.
Oh, there's rephrase. False system objection.
Do you remember, Tyreek Coleman told you he didn't want to press charges, didn't he?
Objection, hearsay.
Yes. This is-
All right.
So, it is not up to an individual citizen whether charges are filed or not. It is up to police officers that are filing citations. It can absolutely happen that someone doesn't actually want charges filed, but it is the officer that determines whether they believe they have probable cause or not. They sign the citation affirming that they believe they have probable cause, and then the city either moves forward or doesn't, based on their own determinations. But the citizens are simply witnesses in the case. Some of them have a special status as victims, which under the Victims' Bill of Rights gives them specific rights through the court process. But they don't actually have the authority or not to bring the charges. That is exclusively with the police department and the prosecutor's office. Okay?
You told me, even though you're in a public space, which you are, you still decided to scream obscenities, didn't you? That's what you told me, right?
I don't recall those very specific statements. When did that occur?
This is, it might be on your, it's on your body cam, 27 minutes and 42 seconds. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
I'm off work, I don't want
No, I know.
I just don't want, I got my 10-year-old son inside.
Let me get one more unit to the entrance here, reference case number he just pulled.
You gotta stop this, this is ridiculous, man.
So,
Bro, I left the property when you said. Come on, man, I left the property when you said.
No,
I
no.
ran off.
Yeah.
Why am I in handcuffs again, sir?
well, because you had the opportunity to leave.
I did. I
Yeah,
did.
but even though you're in a public space,
Pause it.
which you are,
Pause it. That statement was from you,
still
correct?
decided-
That statement was from you, correct?
You know it was, but are we gonna watch the rest of it?
I have questions pertaining to what we just watched. That statement was from you, correct?
Yes.
So, I told you I left the property, and you admitted that I did leave the property just now. Just want this on the record. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We can continue to play it.
You scream obscenities.
No, I did not yell at you.
It's on camera, man. It's on camera. It's on your camera too. You're screaming obscenities upstairs to them in our presence. You did not need to do that, man. So here's the bottom line
I
is.
never said anything to the guy first.
Here's the bottom line. Okay, you can take that to court. I'll see you in court. Here's the bottom line is you're gonna get a disorderly conduct ticket for today. For your just you could have left. We were done, man. We were done. And then
I didn't leave.
instead, you come up here and you start screaming obscenities at
Pause
them
it.
in our.
What obscenities did you witness me scream?
I think you called somebody a stupid fuck. If you roll it back to right before you start to leave, after I decide to make the arrest, you begin to argue with Tariq and his wife again. So at that moment, it just became totally apparent that I had no other choice but to do something to intervene here.
You witnessed Tyreek Coleman say, "Get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here," didn't you?
I don't remember that.
Did you witness it on Mark Brown's live stream that you reviewed?
Objection, foundation.
I think you can ask him because Sergeant Dial did indicate that he had utilized the live stream in his investigation. So I'll allow what
Thank you.
he may remember about that.
I haven't watched his live stream since close to the very first trial, man. So I honestly don't remember. And if he did, it was only as a result of what you guys were saying to him.
So in your testimony during our attorney interview, you stated that I was I was charged for everything I was charged with because of what happened out on this public sidewalk. Is that correct?
I don't remember saying you were charged for what happened because of what happened at the public sidewalk. I don't recall saying that.
Mr. Trelawney?
Yes.
The charge of disorderly conduct doesn't have an element of space to it. So you can commit a disorderly conduct from a public space. Because there's not a requirement that you be trespassing to engage in disorderly conduct.
So let me get this clear. I can go punch somebody in the head, and then once they start trying to tell cops to arrest me, they're gonna go to jail for disorderly conduct, right?
No.
The person that I punched in the head?
What I'm saying is disorderly conduct, unlike criminal trespass that has a spatial component as an element, you have to be in a space where you don't have authority to be, and or remain in a space where you have been asked to leave that you don't have authority to be on. But disorderly conduct can occur regardless of the space that you're lawfully in.
Let's let the record of the court reflect that I am holding up the United States Constitution, Article 1, which clearly states, and you swore an oath to this Constitution, and so did this officer, that I have the right to redress my grievances with my public officials on any traditional public forum. And that right is not limited to a public forum. And there is no such rules in the Constitution that states that because I am redressing the grievances with my government and somebody else simply doesn't like it because they are also a member of the government, does not top my constitutionally protected activity that I was engaged in, Your Honor, regardless of who's offended. I'm sorry, people are offended nowadays.
Your Honor, the state would like to remind the court of the 10th Amendment.
So, we, in this trial, are addressing the two charges of disorderly conduct and criminal trespass.
Correct.
And that is what you can address this witness about, his recollection of and his observations or his investigation and information that he gathered that led to the charges in this case.
Okay.
Okay? But I'm simply reminding you of what the elements of each of those charges are, because that's what guides the evidence that is allowed or not under the rules of evidence. Because the rules of evidence require that the testimony requested of the witness be relevant to the charges, which is each of the elements in the two charges.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You can impeach with things like motive and bias, and I've allowed questions along that line. But there comes a point where it's cumulative, and I think we've gotten close to reaching that point. I think you've established that information on the impeachment.
Okay.
Okay? If you want to redress the government about the general makeup of the law, you should take that up with the legislature, because they're the ones that write the laws. This officer has no bearing on how the law is written. He simply accepts what it says and enforces it.
Your Honor, I strongly disagree. This officer has sworn oath, and so have you, to this Constitution. You have sworn oath to uphold and protect this Constitution, so our government does not get over tyrannical. So I strongly disagree with this. There is no law that can abridge the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble, whether it's with the state legislature or with an officer on the street. There is no law that can abridge that freedom of speech and freedom of press or the right for me to petition my government. And you have sworn oath to this, and so has this officer.
We have both sworn oaths to
Right.
uphold the Constitution. However, there are interpretations of the Constitution and what it says that determines what speech is protected and what is not, and what is just simply inflammatory and not for the common good of the people and not in furtherance of the ideals of the Constitution. So,
Yeah.
you
I-
can question this officer about what he observed that day, about the information that he gathered to determine the charges, but that is what we are here for today. If you want to ultimately, in closing argument, argue that this was free speech, you can do that, but it's not for this officer to determine that. It is for you to question this officer about his observations and his investigation that day, okay?
Yep. I can feel myself getting railroaded on this disorderly conduct. I'm very good at reading minds.
That you want to cross-examine this witness about the observations and investigation that he gave as to both of the charges.
No further questions,
Any
based on the fact that we are not operating under the Constitution in this courtroom today. Speaking of which, at this point, I would like to challenge this court in the prosecutor's subject matter jurisdiction at this point. It has never been proven to me. She claims the subject matter jurisdiction is City of Tucson. Is it funny to you? She's laughing at me.
It's really sad,
I
actually.
have, okay. Ms.
Sorry.
Mr. Tripoli, you have raised and you have filed this motion, I have determined that there is subject matter jurisdiction, and I continue to find that there is subject matter jurisdiction. Okay?
And where's it proven at, for the record? Where's the proof?
In my orders.
So your orders are the proof of the jurisdiction this court has over me?
The proof is that this is an incident that occurred within the city of Tucson, and the city court of the city of Tucson has jurisdiction over misdemeanor matters that occur within the city of Tucson. The two charges are misdemeanor matters, and I have information that they occurred in the city of Tucson. So we therefore have subject matter jurisdiction.
So is that, are you making a claim from the bench there?
That is my finding, yes.
Okay, so you're making a claim from the bench right now?
I am making an order that I have determined that there is subject matter jurisdiction.
Thank you.
And I previously made that.
Thank you.
Okay. You always have the right to appeal my orders to a higher court.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, and may Sergeant Dial be excused?
I think the prosecutor has a few questions.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
that's okay. You may go ahead and redirect Sergeant Dial.
Sergeant Dial, if somebody, according to your training, if somebody is trespassing on a property and then, a while after they leave, can you still cite them for the trespass they have committed?
Yes, the probable cause was still established, but officers do give people chances all the time to not come back.
Do you need one, snippet of event when you're looking at the whole event in order to determine, a reason to charge somebody, or do you base it on something else?
Well, we base it on the totality of the evidence presented forward. I mean, if a representative of a business or a property asks us to help them by relaying their official request to leave, then we do that all the time. Either it's a
Object.
Circle K clerk, whether it's a business complex.
Okay, hold on 1 second. What's your objection?
This is all hearsay. There's no management here. There's, everything from the management is all hearsay.
So it's my understanding you're asking just generally.
I did not mention the word management, that is correct, yes. Just generally how he operates based on his training and experience.
So she's just asking about his general training and experience in the area of criminal trespass, which I will find is relevant.
Okay.
Does trespass in any way depend on re-entering the property?
It can, however, there's the provision of the statute, which is the formal request to leave and the refusal to do so. So, yes, they can be charged with trespassing after giving that request and then coming back. So, yes.
Okay. Mr. Cipollone said that he left the property, however, that was not the end of the interaction. Were there any other, violations committed once he left the property?
Yes, he engaged in disorderly conduct with the victims, from the edge of the property, the sidewalk that meets the landscaping in front of the victims.
Any more questions?
May Sergeant Howell please?
Well, subject to the court, but the state is,
Okay.
yeah,
So
thank you.
Sergeant Howell, I am hearing an issue on potential recall, so I will ask that you remain in the building. I'm going to hear that shortly, so I'll be able to let you know when I can.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, does the state wish to call any further witnesses?
No, the state rests, Your Honor. Before, the state would like to admit Officer Aguilar and Officer Dial's body worn cameras.
Do you have any objection to admitting the body worn camera? I'll have the opportunity to then review it again as I review all of my notes and.
Wait, what's going on here? I didn't understand what she just said.
So the exhibits, the state is requesting to admit the body worn camera footage of Officer Aguilar and Sergeant Dial. that I, as the fact finder, get to take the body worn footage and review it through my deliberations.
I'm gonna object to it either way.
Okay, and what is the basis of your objection?
Lack of, well, hold on. You've come up with a few things for her objections. Can you help me out with with what I'm objecting to here? You've helped the prosecution out with objections. She's objected, and you've stated the grounds for her objection. So can you help me with what grounds I'm objecting to here, so we can be fair?
I have determined, because it is my obligation to uphold the law, when an objection is made, if I find there is another reason for it, I can announce that. And with the request for these admissions, I don't actually see that there is a reason to keep them from being admitted.
So prosecution has given and brought evidence into this trial that was not admitted to me in discovery, which is the videos that I took that clearly establishes my innocence. And why don't we admit the video that she took, that she brought into this trial without giving it to me in discovery, and let's include that in what she's given you, so you can see it from both angles, not just the public officials at hand's videos. You can see it from my angle as well. Can we do that?
I'm sorry, I'm confused about which.
She pulled up a video on YouTube and played you some of it, trying to create a bias in here. And that particular video there shows my angle rather than just Officer Aguilar's angle. And the reason why I don't want you watching Officer Aguilar is because it shows a alleged manager that nobody's proven that's a management, that we have went off of hearsay with questions on this management over and over again. I don't think that's something that you should see without seeing my end of it, is all I'm saying.
Your Honor, the YouTube video was not admitted into evidence because Mr. Tricoloni objected to it. The state is happy to play it and admit it to the court.
Excuse me.
Okay. Are you then asking that the YouTube video be admitted as well? Or are you objecting to all of the admissions?
I wasn't able to use this throughout this entire process here, Your Honor, so this is very unfair to me. I think I'm being railroaded here on one or the other charge. I'm pretty sure it's the disorderly conduct. I would like to argue my directed verdict at this point. That's where I'm at on this. I would like to argue my directed verdict, and I'm objecting to anything the prosecution has to put forward because the bias that she's created by bringing up YouTube and other evidence multiple times during a case management hearing, right before trial, and during trial. She has brought up evidence and shown you evidence from YouTube that would create a bias between us and would create an atmosphere in this courtroom that is not fair and not just. And there's case law pertaining to it I can read off to you if you'd like. It's judicial misconduct, Your Honor, even in this lower municipal court. You allowed it.
As to, let's just keep the record clear here. As to the state's request to admit Officer or Sergeant Dial and Officer Aguilar's body worn camera, you are objecting to their admission?
I am. Yes, ma'am.
I can see that it could potentially be cumulative, given that I've already observed their body worn footage several times through the course of the trial. So I will deny the admission of the Officer Dial or Sergeant Dial and Officer Aguilar's body worn camera footage as cumulative, and I will go simply based upon my memory and observations of viewing their portions of the video.
Thank you, Your Honor.
As to to any YouTube video, I will find that there was no misconduct engaged in by the state.
Okay.
Okay, so you would like to make a directed verdict motion?
I would.
Okay, I can go ahead.
Excuse me a second, let me get it out. Find my motions. Okay, I, Roy Tripoloni, the defendant in the above captioned case, respectfully verbally submit this motion to request a direct verdict pursuant to Rule 20A of the Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure. The grounds for this motion arise from critical deficiencies in the prosecution's case and the violation of my constitutional rights, as well as the absence of a victim, rendering much of the evidence presented by police officers as inadmissible hearsay. Additionally, I would like to draw the attention to the arresting officer's lack of firsthand knowledge of the events in question, forcing him to rely solely on his report during cross-examination. Grounds for the motion are lack of credible testimony. Throughout the trial, the prosecution has heavily relied on the testimonies of both alleged victims and the arresting officer. However, upon close examination, it has become evident that all three witnesses exhibiting glaring inconsistencies and contradictions in their statements. These discrepancies significantly undermined the reliability and credibility of their testimonies, thereby leaving the prosecution's case devoid of substantial evidence. Insufficient evidence. Despite the prosecution's efforts, the evidence presented falls woefully short of establishing the essential elements of the alleged crime beyond a reasonable doubt. The witnesses' testimonies lack crucial corroboration, and the prosecution has failed to produce substantial evidence to meet the burden of proof required in criminal proceedings. First Amendment protections. The actions I undertook on the public sidewalk were unequivocally protected under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Engaging in constitutionally protected speech and lawful activities cannot and should not be construed or transmuted into criminal conduct. Therefore, these charges against me are blatantly unfounded and should be dismissed on the basis of safeguarding cherished constitutional rights. Hearsay evidence. It is crucial to highlight that there is no direct victim testimony regarding the alleged trespassing. The purported victim failed to appear in court, denying me the opportunity to cross-examine her or challenge the veracity of her alleged statements to the police officer. As a result, the officer's reliance on her alleged statements is nothing more than hearsay, Your Honor, which is inadmissible as evidence. This is a violation of pretrial agreement. It has come to my attention that the prosecution introduced evidence during the trial that was not disclosed during the pretrial discovery phase. This egregious violation of the pretrial agreement undermines the fairness and integrity of the trial process, depriving me of my constitutionally guaranteed right to a fair trial and due process of law. In light of these compelling grounds mentioned above, I earnestly beseech this court to grant the directed verdict, thereby acquitting me of all charges in this case. The prosecution's case has been woefully inadequate, and no reasonable jury should or could, in good conscience, find me guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based on the evidence presented. I extend my profound gratitude to the court's conscientious consideration of this matter, and I trust that justice shall prevail in this esteemed courtroom. And thank you for your attention. There are some other things that I needed to bring up because I had to draft this before today. The officers involved have made mistakes and they were investigated. They're found there was no wrongdoing with the officers. However, somebody has instructed the arresting officer to rely on his report and not to say anything because he likes to talk. And I know this because of previous interactions that we've had. I believe it's his legal advisor. I didn't want to get into attorney-client privileges or whatever they got going on over there, so I tried to work around that to get him to admit it. Through his body language, I feel in my heart that he was directed to mess with this due process in this court by giving me the runaround and taking as much time as he can. This arresting officer definitely retaliated on me. He definitely is still retaliating to this day by messing with due process and has even discredited the case that the prosecution has by the way he answers these questions and cannot answer these questions after he just watches the video. The witnesses, the victims, the alleged victims, Tariq Coleman and his wife, consistently lied on the stand. Tariq's wife, you allowed a 10-year-old as a victim in my case, and I never seen this 10-year-old, never filmed the 10-year-old, was never involved with me whatsoever. However, you allowed this 10-year-old to be a victim in this case without me being able to face my accuser, in a sense. I have not done any research on this 10-year-old. We don't even know if there's a 10-year-old that exists, Your Honor. To bring this 10-year-old and say that he was a victim in this was completely nonsense, if you ask me. Excuse my lack of wording. There was no 10-year-old. We never seen a 10-year-old, and it is nowhere on any body cam footage or anything else. I don't know if that has anything to do with Mark Brown's case, possibly. Maybe the 10-year-old's a victim in his case, but definitely not in mine. The Marina Quiroz, during my cross-examination, at the end of it, states that she went outside and brought her child inside while I was in the middle of the complex. Then she states my screaming is why that child had to be put in the bathroom or wherever they store that child when it gets scared. So she has conflicting statements in her testimony when I cross-examined her. Also, Tariq Coleman has conflicting statements in his testimony when I cross-examined him. The arresting officer has no memory. This is a smokescreen to suppress my First Amendment right, Your Honor, and I will stop the motion there. Thank you for hearing.
Your Honor, according to Rule 20, after the close of evidence on either side and on motion or on its own, the court must enter a judgment of acquittal on any offense charged in the indictment, information, or complaint if there is no substantial evidence to support a conviction. The state would argue that it put forth evidence in terms of testimony by officers and body-worn camera that both the elements of DLC and criminal trespass were established.
When it comes to directed verdict, it is entirely different from finding proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And in large part because the court is required not to engage in a credibility determination of the evidence at the directed verdict stage. It is simply whether the state has submitted evidence as to each of the elements, but not the weight to be given to that evidence. So I will find that the state has made a prima facie case as to both the disorderly conduct and the criminal trespass, but that in no way has any bearing on whether I ultimately find that they've proven it beyond a reasonable doubt, because at this juncture, I can't assess credibility. I have to simply determine, have they presented evidence that goes to each of the elements of each of the charges. And I will find that they have presented evidence as to each of the elements of each of the charges, but I'm not at this that, it is now the defense's opportunity to call witnesses.
Is there any chance we can take a slight break, Your Honor?
So here's
Restroom?
what I'm thinking. It is already 11:43. Why don't we go ahead and break for lunch at this point? And then I will allow you to make your offer of proof after lunch, and then we can go forward with your case at that point.
Sure. What time would you like me back, Your Honor?
Let's come back at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Will this courtroom be locked? Can I leave all my valuables in here? Okay,
It will
good.
be locked and you can leave your things.
Okay.
Although I know we don't have admitted exhibits at this point, but are all of the marked exhibits here as well? So we wanna make sure they
Yes.
stay in order.
I know, yes.
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else we need to take up before the break?
There was the issue of the evidence of, admitting the April Binder's, state of mind, the state gave a case,
I'm gonna object.
Tucker, that you were going to rule on. I don't know if it's, if the court has made a decision or not.
Let's take that up after.
Okay.
It's on 1 o'clock. We're gonna break for lunch.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will take, the April Binder and Tucker matter up after lunch.
April Binder and Tucker, what does that matter?
So it was a motion that the state made about, Ms. Binder's state of mind and admission of any evidence as to that.
Where's this motion at? How come I
It
haven't?
was made orally, at the last trial setting date.
I gave, both defense and the court copies of the case. I'm happy to make it
I'm gonna object.
again.
It's an unfair surprise again.
So you were previously given the Tucker case. I can make a copy for you again if you'd like.
I do have that case, yeah.
Okay, so I will address the motion after lunch, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
I'm gonna object
Okay.
to the motion.
After lunch.
Yep.
because I'm-
All right.